Hello there, this is Marcio, and welcome to another episode of Culture Coding with Agents. This, like other episodes, it's a reflection from the situation that we're going through, working with AI agents, and there are lots of things happening. But I also see, and throughout all these episodes, I see more and more that it's just like working with humans, right? Because if you think about the example of the humanoid, and the reason that many of these organizations are actually making humanoids to look like us, right? One argument in there is that they can use the washing machine, right? But that's something happening, and in the development space, that's exactly what happens for what works for a while already. So if you're talking with a agent using voice, and I'm going to show you, right? That's a kind of interaction that we know. If you are using an agent, like in this case, and here it's Codex. If you're using the agent, and the agent controls your editor interface, like the visual code here. Well, right, it's like the humanoid using the washing machine, because that agent types for me and uses the text editor and is accessing the operating system and existing functions, right? And also the whole training about this coding programmers agents is based on what's online throughout the years since the beginnings of the web, right? Which, by the way, documents and in books and books and books, right? And the whole development model that we are using. So, we're all these agents are made from how we programmed systems, okay, with existing knowledge. Now, here is a case that I want to keep documented. It's like it's what I have here. It's a memo document, okay, about a system that I'm developing as part of my organization. And this whole 16 pages or more document was written by AI, written by Codex, in a high reasoning, using a high reasoning and using Soul model, actually, right? So this is from August 2026 now. That's one way that I work with agents, because it's a huge system, right? So in this document, I use a structured communication model. I use, in this case, SCQA, which is the work of Barbara Minto, situation, complication, question, answer. That creates an introduction that carries on a logical structure, okay? Complication has to do with opportunities, what we're doing, what we want to solve, right? And involves question answers and supporting points. For instance, point pilar 1, 2, 3, and those are the elements, the supporting points to support the answer where we're going. So, for instance, supporting points, there are many pages for the supporting point A1. It involves, for instance, analysis of a whole system. See their highlights here, right? Then this is pretty natural because you can now sit and relax and work in something. See those annotations? Those are voice-based annotations, because as you go through something, right, you say, oh wait, right, there's something wrong here, and there's something that sometimes you can provide a review from the reading. This kind of experience, okay, where I'm capturing that as well for us here. You see, that's review 030, right? And that's an audio. That's a 2 minutes audio. And the transcription is here, right? So this is this, okay? So then, of course, right, you can wrap all those things, put together, and send back to your colleague, right? That's so far the way we're doing. But there's nothing here different than what we have been doing, right? Point. I think that we're being prompted to some extent to be better managers, to organize communication. So we're being forced, actually, because we want to be productive, right? But I think if I have to summarize the major challenge going on, is that if you want to improve your productivity, you are being challenged right now to organize communication. And you're gonna need support from things like, Andy Grove, high output management, to the work of Barbara Minto, the pyramid principle, SCQA from Barbara Minto, that helps us organize communication. There are, of course, many other management tools, right, that we need to consider. Now, that's one kind of interaction I wanted to capture for us. Another kind of interaction is this, right? You enter a live meeting, because some cases you're trying to, you may find a section with ambiguity and something to talk with others, right? So you can actually do this kind of a live session. Hey, buddy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you recap for me the last thing we talked about?
Sure. We were talking about section 2.1 and how it hints at deeper actors coming into play only when needed.
Oh,
Your suggestion to annotate.
go ahead. Right, go ahead.
Your suggestion to annotate that with plain English, like don't use jargon unless it's a formal entity, and also whether the document makes parallel sessions explicit.
All right. So that first point about not using jargon except in formal entities, right? You annotated that, right?
Yes.
Right.
I
So
capture that as an annotation recommendation.
right. So what's the other subject?
Specifically-
Can you remind me of the other thing we discussed?
Sure. The other thing was your question about whether the doc makes the idea of parallel user sessions explicit.
Oh yeah, and so far you didn't sense the document was covering that, right? And by the way, moving in that regard, can you point me out the closest section where reaffirms that idea? If so, if we have it.
Checking. So here's what I see. It doesn't explicitly state parallel sessions as a concept, but section 4.3, one browser binary to one meeting as a not yet proven scenario. Section 4.1 also distinguishes meeting, live session, and activation, which implies multiple activations rather than a single threaded runtime. It doesn't confirm it, but it certainly opens the door.
So one would be section 4.1.
Yes, 4.1 and 4.3.
I see 4.1 domain gap meeting live session route activation, and then the idea of a meeting episode live session application activation, maybe the idea of live session, right?
Yes, exactly. And that section draws a hard line between durable session identity and current live state and root activation. That is the conceptual parallel activations not spelled out yet.
All right, thank you very much so far. We're gonna talk soon.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so I just want to wrap up now because otherwise I'm going to engage. But I think this is enough in terms of documentation, what's going on by the year 2026. Very important to capture that how nothing at all is changing. Except maybe, I mean, there are many things changing, of course, but